Have you ever felt lost in the workforce where like everything looks so great and you're like, well, what's wrong with me? And perhaps some of the sabotages will come in where you'll start like actually explaining to yourself, how you're not this and not that, and you should be this. And then all of a sudden you totally get derailed and you don't really get to the true question is, why are people not hiring me when I have all this experience and people love working with me? And I know that I'm hireable, but what's going on? There's this new thing since we've gone online and there's all about visibility, and I think this is where the conversation truly needs to go. This is why I have Corey Dillon with me today. She's an expert in this area of saying, hey, if you're out there and you're looking for work, but I know you really got all the gems and the juice, this come my way and I'll share this information for you to you. We need this right now. We need to make sure that we're keeping these people, us, that are very active and ready to do the work, educated and moving forward on why maybe they need to show up differently, because everything keeps evolving. And there really is more like a silent thing that's happening. If you're not aware of it, there's these shifts happening almost every day. Being the producer and the host of Fresh Talks Global Vision, I have my ears and eyes open to what's going on because I'm out there. It's not like I'm any expert because I'm like in there studying. I literally am. My brain is in podcasting and watching people and understanding what they're doing. Perhaps that's some of the things maybe you want to do, even if you're employed now and you're feeling like you want a promotion, but you're maybe not showing up. So I think all of this tethers together. We'll get more to this explanation. Corey Dillon, welcome in.
Thank you for having me, Rhonda. I'm excited to be here because I'm sort of in this same spot that a lot of people are. I'm talking about anyone over 40 or Gen Xers who have been in the workforce for decades. We're experts in our field, whatever that field might be, right? But things are changing. And, with AI especially, it started really, I think, with social media, where everybody had a platform. Everybody had, a visual. Right. I've been in radio for decades, and it used to be, you had a face for radio, and you didn't have to be visible. People had their own imaginations, what you look like. I mean, a lot of people have told me they thought I was like a 6-foot blonde for some reason, whereas I'm like really a 5'3" brunette, born and raised, never changing.
Everybody trying to put us in a box.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's just the reality, but authenticity is what's really selling now. So I think a lot of people are worried about trying to be an influencer, which, God, you don't have to be an influencer, but you do have to be visible for anyone to know what you're doing. It used to be, if you had a book, for instance, or you had a platform, you were an expert in your field, you got on radio, you got on TV and told everyone what you were doing, and that legitimized you. But now it's social media. The good news is there's no barrier to entry, right? We all have a cell phone. We all have a smartphone, hopefully. And that's all you need to be visible in the workforce, in the world today, truly.
Hey, let's take a moment. Let's take a step back. I love how you took charge because everything sounded really good and it was buzzworthy. I'm like, yes. So thanks for jumping in there and sharing this, because you're actually pointing to some of your expertise in being able to say everybody can do this, but you want to know the steps to make sure that you understand, because right now it seems pretty easy, but I bet you there's some sabotages and different angles that you're seeing as you're working with people too, and what can happen. So we're going to go in as deep as we can in this half an hour. So let me give a bio to what we have here. So you're an award-winning career broadcaster, now pivoting to full-time content creation. Last summer, you revamped your YouTube channel to focus education, like what you said, Gen X and anyone over 40, how to use social media to stay visible and relevant in the workforce. Holding it there just for a moment. So social media can literally make you or break you based on you just being out there and saying what you are saying, but you're saying authenticity is important. So
yes.
I have a question for this right now. I have a little bit more. I want to explain who you are, but there's something here that I'm thinking. So I see people, they post really nice things and stuff like that, and I go, man, this is so lovely stuff. And then they get into stuff that, I mean, it's authentically them. It's how they feel. It's like, so you'll see stuff about politics, and or maybe some posts that are just like, you're like, oh, but I mean, it's not what I'm into. But I mean, respectfully, that could that derail somebody if they're being authentic and really opening up to themselves? Does this really open them up to some issues? Like, can we at least start there? But I still have some more about expressing who you are.
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to pick a lane, right? Are you a political expert? If you are, great, go for it, but you're going to turn off at least 50% of your audience. For instance, one of the things that inspired me was, again, that anybody can do this. You are an expert in whatever you've been doing. There's a woman that I've never met her, but she's a big radio fan. She lives in Florida. She's had a hard life. She's also been a business owner. She owns her own cleaning business. I'm telling you, if she just stuck a camera in her, not even in her face, but if she put up a cleaning tip a day on TikTok or whatever platform is best for her, are you kidding me? People would eat that up. It would probably bring her, I'm guessing, I'm betting on a lot more business. I have another girlfriend who wants to start a podcast based around grief, right? She's had a lot of loss in her life and in her family, and she has all the equipment and everything. And I said, you're kind of putting the cart before the horse. Why don't you simply get used to putting a camera in your face and just sharing your thoughts, because that's where you're going to connect with people, is looking into a camera and talking to them. And yes, looking into the camera, not off to the side or whatever the case might be, but really, I think authentically showing what you are an expert in is what's going to make the difference. That's what's going to move the needle for you, whoever you are, and whatever it is that you do.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is, I know as a person, a business owner, that I want to be authentically myself in my expertise, but I believe that's all connected with health also. Health is about like being in alignment. So whatever I'm posting, I'm really actually, that's my expertise. And so it's easy for me to be in that because I mean, I've been doing it for years, so I understand that. But are you saying that people that are also in the marketplace, like really actually working for people, that they really are their social media and what they're expressing, so somebody can find them and hire them? And are we talking about that kind of hiring also? Like,
yes, because if you
really?
put yourself out there as a thought leader,
Yeah,
whatever the case might be, maybe you are an advertiser, you are a marketer, you are a professional salesperson.
right.
There are tips, there are things that you have learned. You have lived experience in all of these things, especially at our age, in our 40s and 50s and 60s.
Yeah, yeah,
That's valuable, and people want case studies, right? They want to know
yeah.
what worked, what didn't work. You can share the hard lessons that you've learned too. I mean, this doesn't have to be, you don't have to put yourself out there like, I am the expert in XYZ.
It
It's
used to
like,
be
hey,
very masculine like that, don't you think? And you're like what you're saying, it's becoming more softer, more authentic, instead of like trying to fight who's the expert.
I mean, I don't even know if it's softer, harder, masculine, feminine. It's just, authentically who you are.
Yeah.
But you can be a little humble. You can be a little, understanding of the fact that there are limitations to your expertise. Again, but if you are an expert, you've been doing something for decades, you know what you're talking about, right? I mean, but everyone's experience is their own lived experience. I mean, what works for you may not work for someone, but it's a case study. I mean, a lot of people are looking for answers, frankly, whether it's a cleaning tip or
Yeah.
something with your mental health or your physical health. There are people looking for answers in all sorts of different subjects. Let's put it that way.
So you're known to say your job search isn't broken, your visibility is. Your job search isn't failing because you lack talent, it's failing because you're invisible in today's job market. I mean, this is really blowing my mind. Like, because if I follow you, let's just say I'm working for so and so, and my thing is around like what would it be like around computers, and I'm in the IT area. So when you go into social media, it's not just taking a step back and doing a resume and just sending it all out there. It's literally you are actually selling you're actually selling yourself. You're actually staying in your authentic space and talking about what you're doing, your experiences, because somebody's going to go look, and that's your resume in itself. That's
Yes.
actually a very big jump. And I see very few people that are working for somebody actually do this. And I could see that the people that want to hire, they're going to your social media and they're looking for scrutinizing, but this is what would open them up if they weren't like on the same page as you, saying they're going to open that up. And this is your opportunity to be able
Right.
to shine by starting to talk about all these things. Oh, I like where we're going here, Corey. Okay, so
Yeah.
can you tell me what happened in 2016? And I want to understand a little bit more of your story because you definitely have an expertise in here. It says about 15 years in media that you found yourself navigating a job market that no longer worked the way it used to. Can we take a step back? This will help people that are
Absolutely.
like me, like blown away. What are the things that you were learning and discovering, and how did you discover that?
Well, first of all, I was getting older in my field, right? I mean, that just
Mm.
happens naturally if we're blessed to stay here on this earth and continue doing what we love. But in 2016, I lost my job in radio. I was working for the biggest radio company in the land, and I thought that was it because I was unemployed, or I like to call it self-employed, for over 2.5 years, 2 years and 7 months. But what it did, I kept sharing my story, and that's the one great thing about social media is that you used to lose your job and nobody ever heard from you again, right? But
Yeah.
now you can enter the conversation, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook. You can keep the conversation going in your field with your colleagues or your former colleagues,
And
and
keep
share
growing.
with them what you're doing. Yes, you can keep going. And that's the thing I want to point out for people today. you know what, I don't know what they do in particular. Maybe LinkedIn is the right platform for you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's Instagram. I just read last night that Threads has overtaken X for daily users.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, just
Yeah.
this week, I guess. There are
Okay.
some people I'm sure that would disagree with that, but it is what it is. um and so I had to make myself visible, and social media was really the way to do that. I did get some jobs working with HSN. I was selling tech products on HSN on national TV. It opened me up to a lot of different opportunities, things that I would not have had the chance to do, like be the DJ for the Red Sox at spring training in Fort Myers, Florida. Are you a Red
This is
Sox fan?
fun.
But I mean, that's the thing. You have to kind of look at where the opportunities are. And when you are posting your experience, whatever it is that you are going through, and the lessons that you have learned, I'm telling you, that will open doors for you. People will notice. People will take notice. And I believe, and this is what I'm even hoping right now, is I'm really launching my own thing. I'm doing my own thing, knowing that the opportunities will come because people are like, who do we know? Who's in the front of our brain? Who's been out there that is doing this? And we need
And you're
somebody
way ahead of
doing
the
that.
game. You're way ahead of the game. Not enough people are talking about this.
Well, again, this is my lived experience. This is, I like to help people too. And I believe in helping others. I'm kind of helping myself. It's a little bit self-preservation, but I've talked for a living for so long that this is what I do. They
Yeah.
say an artist isn't an artist because somebody told them to paint, or draw. It's something that they need to do, and this is what I need to do. I need to communicate with people. I love conversation. I love to learn things and
Mhm.
continue to grow in what I do. And one of
Yeah.
the things that I have to do that is to put out content, that's hopefully sharing my experience, and what I'm finding is going to help other people too.
And there's a twofold here. I feel like we get to put content out there when you start really knowing you're like that there's that this is the path to help you get to the next level. So us having this conversation, I can already see people out there posting and getting ready to post because they're like, oh, like because it helps you, like what you said, to be able to go from your brain to actually speak it. It's almost like a foreign language. There's so much going on in the brain, but it's like that practice. Because like when you're going for interviews, also, or if you just say you end up wanting to do something on Facebook and you do Facebook Live, to be able to express your expertise, I think it'd be good to be out there, doing those kinds of things if you are actually even working for somebody, because entrepreneurs think about that stuff most of the time. But the
Yeah.
people that really are moving up the scale through different jobs, we didn't think this was important. I mean, and what I think is also you're a fast learner. You're like, because you were out there with your feelers out there and speaking and being able to see things at different angles based on perhaps some of the work that you've done in the past. But what the other fault here on this is, okay, so there's some people out there that are ready to post and do their thing. They're like, okay, I got you. I'm going to go out there and do that, Corey. What about those people? I had personal breakthroughs for myself and like being able to post stuff. And sometimes somebody would say, that's not authentically you. It's sounding like you're passive. Because I'd have a friend that just like trying to help me out. What is it that you're finding that when you're working with people, you can see all their gems, they're actually in alignment and they're posting, but there's something stopping them? What are some of the things that may stop somebody from being themselves and allowing people to get to know them so that it looks like their resume, so they're really showing up?
Well, I mean, it's there's vulnerability involved,
Mhm.
right? I mean, putting yourself out there is vulnerable, but I think the rewards are are greater than, you feeling a little silly in the moment. And you don't have to post your face. You don't have to produce some great crazy video at
Okay.
first. You could start with,
Yeah.
hey, I gave this presentation a year or a couple of years ago and I just
Yeah.
knocked it out of the park. You can turn that into a carousel, an article for LinkedIn. I mean, there are ways to be visible that don't require you to put your face on camera just yet, and
Yeah.
maybe never. It really depends on kind of what you do, you know?
How do you open their eyes to this? Like some people, they're worth some money. Their brain has been around there for a while. Let's just say they're
Yeah.
mid 50s or 60s, but there's so much in their brain that you're like, oh, we need to get you out there. And some people may say you're too old, but let's display your expertise so people see how relevant you are,
Yeah.
and you're keeping up on the education, and you've been in those big conversations, but they still are like holding back. What are some of the things that you help them kind of leverage to wake them up and really speak to something maybe in their day-to-day they never shared with people? Because at the workforce they did, but like and out there they didn't. I mean, I
Right.
know people stop themselves. And it sounds like you're coaching or you're getting people motivated to do this. What are some of the things that you help them to break through that stuff?
The first thing I would tell them is their expertise in what it is that they do is absolutely valuable. I mean, yes, you have a lot of these influencers, they're flashy, but they don't have the lived experience. They don't have the work
Yeah.
experience that
Yeah.
you do. So I would say that first of all, your experience is something nobody can take away from you, right? They
Right.
can't take that away from you. They could take your job away from you, but they can't take your accomplishments and your experience away from you. And the second thing that I would tell them is that authenticity and just really putting yourself out there is
Mm-hmm.
what works in social media, especially. It works with the algorithm, it works building an audience, and it will make you a thought leader in your space. And people will think of you. I mean, join the conversation in your field on LinkedIn. Post thoughtful comments. Don't get into the comments and start arguing about politics or whatever the case might be. It is a professional platform.
And
Um,
show up professionally, because that is your
yes,
profession if you're doing professional stuff. Like, yeah, so I can hear that. Um, how can people connect with you? I like this conversation, and sometimes we love to invite people in. 6 months later, I really want you to come back in, and I want
thank
you
you.
to just kind of share what you've been experiencing, because I know you've already experienced a lot, and I can't wait for us to dive in this deep as we're going to be sharing with others about this conversation. So everybody, please share this conversation, forward it to people, because this is like I do interviews all the time. I do not hear enough about what is happening and what Corey is talking about right now. This is like really, really
Right.
important. Yeah.
Right. Anywhere on social media, you can find me at In with Corey Dillon, INWITHCOREYDYLAN. In with Corey Dillon on social media. On LinkedIn, love to connect with you there too, at Corey Dillon Media. But again, I think the first thing that people can do, the easiest thing they can do, is align all their social media profiles if they are on the job hunt in particular, especially because people will look at their profiles, as you mentioned, and just make sure that they're up to date with a great picture, your work experience. Make sure you're putting your best foot forward out on social media, because if they take a look at your resume, the first thing they're going to do after that is look at your social media.
And I love how you're talking about authenticity, because like when somebody hires you because you're showing up, like you've been talking about influencers, like you just show up and they're like, oh yeah, I like that person. And then as time goes on, the true authentic person that you start learning to love on yourself more. I think that's part of the experience, is you actually growing, interpersonally also as you're doing this, to even level your emotional IQ to where you were maybe when you had your job before. Maybe there's shame there about that you lost your job because of something, which can happen. But I
Yeah.
believe every day you have a new way to show up. We have a million cells that our body creates every day. We are actually a new person. We have 74 trillion cells, and we're getting rid of old cells. We all need to be out there in a way that shows how we are authentically. Our nervous system needs that. And Dylan, I think about this, our nervous system is what holds us in a room and helps us be really authentic and really show who we are, because we can jump out of that if we're not calm and we can't really stay within what we really want to say, to being in conversation, being professional, going for interviews, so to understand how to really manage the body to know how to show up. So I bet you have so many insights on this. So I can't wait for us to connect again. Thank you for coming in, my friend.
Yes, absolutely. Everyone's experience is valuable, so we need to own it and believe in it and believe in ourselves.
I hear the motivation out there. Well, I tell
Yes,
you, when I
ma'am.
first got done doing my accounting school, I was a C student. And in that industry, I actually really didn't know that you had to be an A student, like to get a job real quick. I mean, I knew the big firms, the big six at that time, 20 something years ago, like that was really important. And so they're asking for my GPA. But you know what? I knew that I was a C student, but I knew I was a hard worker because I was working all the time, and I took school a little bit off to I'm going to get it done kind of thing. But I realized I learned how to not shame myself. And I think that's one of the key things that you probably work with, is like, okay, you got fired because of this. Let's move forward. Let me see the good stuff you have. And because vulnerability, it pulls all those experiences that may have not worked for you. And to own it, like for me to say that, I'm so proud of that, because that's the experience of how I was showing up in life, and how to actually really love on ourselves for that. Because you got to love on yourself if you're going to
You do.
keep it out
You
there.
do. Because if you don't believe in yourself, why would anyone else believe in you?
And there we go. That was wonderful. What a great finish there, Corey Dillon. Okay, so Fresh Talks Global Vision. We have this awesome rock star here. I really, really been enjoying this, Corey.
It's been a pleasure, Rhonda. Thank you
The
so much.
information you've given, and everybody re-listen to this. Take some notes. Figure out where the holes are for you, so then you can really look at like what you want to post out there in social media and at what level. It's just so you know yourself, and then make sure you're connecting with Corey Dillon. She'll help you with what the steps she already said. You may not know this until you actually get out there, but exactly what she said, it's very hard to get to each step. Sometimes it's very easy. You may need somebody like Corey Dillon to really be able to see you and to be able to feel you, so you feel safe, because that vulnerability is what aligns the authenticity, so that you can get a job right away. Let's say you're out of job for a month, 3 years, a year, 1 day, and you're ready to rock. Whatever it is, let's get active together. I love you. Everybody, let's keep opening our voice And let's stop shaming and blaming ourselves. Use these strategies of what you learned so that we can help others also. But first, take care of yourself. Go get yourself a job. If you're in the wrong job, clean up that social media, because it's your time right now. Love everybody. Appreciate you. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you. We'll connect again, my friend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.